right, guys, here we are for our paint correction step. So this morning we've already taken this car from complete filth. It's from up in Ohio. It was snowing. It was very dirty paint. And so we've washed it, we've decontaminated it, we used some aggressive suds, and then we did a full clay bar treatment. So at this point, what we're left with is just the paint damage. And if you can see all of this spider webbing in the paint, this is from very poor maintenance and upkeep. This will come from going through automatic car washes or somebody putting a polishing pad on it that's been used on 70 other different cars and trash is all in it. And it looks good when there's some kind of wax or something on top of this because it'll fill in those, but that just fades away. So we're gonna actually fix this, and that's why we call it paint correction. Just so you understand what paint correction is, it's not actually the paint. The paint is several layers under clear coat. And so there is a very fine millimeter amount of clear coat on top of the paint, and that's what all these imperfections are in mostly. Now, some things that have gone through the clear coat and through the paint will not come out, but it'll look a whole lot better once we fix the rest of it. And so what we've got here today, we're gonna be using Rube's Bigfoot. This is a 21 millimeter, and the difference in these measurements, all the way down from 8 to 21, this is the most aggressive, is the throw. And what we mean by that is when this pad moves, it is moving at a total throw of 21 millimeters. And this is just going to sling that pad on the paint. We're also using an aggressive cutting pad, and this is microfiber right here, wool combination, and it's a very thin pad, which is going to not offset the pressure that I put on it like a thicker pad would. This is going to be less aggressive because it's got so much more cushion for my pressure to the clear coat. And so speaking of that, we're gonna start with the cutting pad. Here are a couple of examples of other pads. And this is another cutting pad. It's just a little thicker, and so it's gonna be less aggressive. This is a medium pad. This is for our 3-inch. I didn't have a medium in the big pads, but this is medium aggressive. Now, it doesn't have the microfiber wool here that you would see. And so this is going to be for your second and third step of correction. And then this will be a fine pad, and it's very, see, this is much more, I don't know if you can see, it's harder to the touch. This is soft. And this is more for the last step, which would be the true polish. So we got our pads, we got our tool here. The other thing you need to understand is your different polishes. And so we've got 3 different ones here, starting from the most aggressive, which is called a flat top. This is going to be a mixture of polish and grit really in it that acts as sanding paper, a wet sanding paper. And so this has a higher combination of that grit in it, which is going to really just cut through the clear coat. If you use this on your car when it was brand new, it would really just scar up the clear coat. And this really is gonna tear down that first layer of clear coat so that we can restore it. It's gonna tear out all the big cuts and with a bunch of small ones. And then we'll come through, depending on how bad it is, I'll step down 1 or I may step down 2, and then we'll do a polishing or a classic cut, which is a finer compound, and that will smooth out all of the micro scratches we've put in it with an aggressive cut and an aggressive pad. We'll take and match this one with maybe this, and then we would finalize with a polish and a polishing pad. But your traditional 3-step would look like that. You'd have a cutting pad with a cutting polish compound. You'd have a medium with a medium and a fine with a fine. And they all go on this same tool by Velcro. Just center that on there and you can change them out. I don't recommend changing them out often. And so now we've got this one already loaded. Marquise has helped us with that. I've got 4 small dots in it. It does not take much of this. So when you're priming the pad, 4 small dots is all you need. And so less is more in this situation. So we've got the car prep we're gonna put this piece of tape here to kind of show you a before and after, and we're gonna get started. With polishing, it's all about low and slow. We're gonna do a small section, and we're gonna try to find how the paint reacts, how the clear coat reacts. As I start rubbing this thing on it, I'll know just because of experience, if I need to go faster, slower, pick it up, you know, more pressure. Not a lot of pressure is needed. This is not a pressing pad here. You wanna let the tool do the work, but hold it firm so that it's not jumping all over the place. So one tip of the trade, cross your body around your neck, get this thing behind you so that you don't drag on the car and cause further scratches. We're just going to slightly turn this thing down. It is adjustable. I'm gonna go all the way to a 1, and I'm gonna find my box here and just start working the polish into it very slowly. And now you can see how that spread. Those 4 just small, tiny dots have spread so much on this car. So it really shows you it doesn't take much. And so now we're gonna get this thing going. And I'm gonna crank it up, probably at about a 4 until I get my feeling about it. Everything we do, washing, clay bar, we're gonna do a box pattern. All right, so what I just did there in a box pattern is called one pass. And so I went up, down, crossing about half of my distance down, and then again, up, down, and then left to right, all the way back up, dropping half of my distance each time. And so now I can get a better assessment of what it's gonna take, and it actually, I can see it, and I'm actually gonna put my headset on so I can see it better, but I can see it adjusting already, but I'm gonna take probably 2 passes on this. Beautiful. All right, I'm really impressed with how this is coming out. As I was going over it with the polisher, I could literally see the blue metal flake restore. I don't know if you can see it in there, but this black actually has a little bit of a blue metal flake in it. And so we're gonna wipe this polish off. Again, following the box strategy. You can already see the difference here and how black that is and how that's coming out so nicely. But we can still see those finer scratches in there. So now we just step down and we'll take out the damage we just put on it. You know what, we'll go ahead and do a polish. Let's see what a 2-step does with this thing. All right, again, starting out real small amount on the fresh pad there. Same technique, just different pad and different sauce. We'll put this thing back down on 1. All right, we've got it applied, and so now we're just gonna work it into the paint. Get it cranked up. All right, that's one pass, and I can just tell it looks great, but I'm gonna go ahead and work one more pass into it. A lot of the times you see guys polishing and the things hopping around and moving on them. That happens when it's not level. If I'm tilted, it'll move. I'm not moving it. If I'm just off level, it'll move that pad. Keeping it flat will keep it in one spot without having to wrestle with it. So if it's ever leading you, that's because you're not flat. You may look flat, but at a different angle, you're not flat. And we wipe that off, and man, I can already tell that is night and day. Dude, that looks good. So you can see all the buildup here of scratches and all those swirl marks that were in the paint, and then over here, they're all but gone. If I'd have gone with a 3-step here, I'd have got them all, but man, I'm telling you, when you get in the sun with this, the car is gonna shine like it hadn't shined for a long time. Makes a big difference. So we're gonna continue working our way around the car. This ain't easy, it is time consuming, but it's the way to do it right, and this car will look great for somebody. There's nothing we can do about these paint chips. We can fill them in, and we will do that after we're done, but we'll restore the rest of this paint, and this car will stand tall. One of the things you can learn to do over time is when you end up with these big scratches in the car, and you can tell the difference between surface scratches and through the paint, you can start getting a lot of this stuff out, and it makes the car show a lot better. And so the way I'm gonna get that out is I'm gonna start with the Roops micro polisher. This is the Mini Bigfoot. It holds up to a 3-inch pad. And it's just gonna help me work these angles here and really isolate some of this damage. And so same concept, just a smaller polisher, but I'm gonna start with a cutting microfiber combination cutting pad, and then I'm gonna hit it with medium afterwards. Starting with the flat top, our most aggressive, we're just gonna put a very tiny amount. I hear some guys say a dime size. I think a dime would be too much. So we basically just dab just a tad bit on here. This one's not as adjustable, and it will sling, so you want to make sure to just kind of rub it first where you're going to polish. And I'll go ahead and take care of this whole trim piece here. We want to just guide it, not press. You press it, the pad will stop spinning. All right, I'm just kind of stopping here because as I come through here, I could tell this is more than just a scratch. This is some kind of junk in the paint. And so this made it through our clay bar treatment and wash, and I'm realizing that it's some type of tar or something really sticky. So instead of wear this polisher out on it, I'm gonna just stop and take a time out here and try to maybe do some isopropyl alcohol or some kind of cutting chemical to see if this is just gummed up here. So let's see what it does on it. Oh yeah, look at that, comes right out. With just the right chemical, it took that right out. So that wasn't even a scratch at all. But as I was polishing it, I can see I was taking a lot of this scratch out of it. So I'm gonna finish up this one section since we started. Get this completely dried off. All right, so we cut it. All right, so same thing, less aggressive pad, less aggressive polish. A couple of dabs here will do it. Work it in. All right, wiping it down. Get all that out of there, and man, it looks good. And so you can really see the difference here between what that looks like and the rest of the car. And the reason we use lights like this is those lights really reflect the scratches. The light catches those grooves in the paint, and it's nothing more than a crater inside the clear coat on a very micro scale. Scratches are nothing more than a crater cut into the clear coat. And so what we're doing is smoothing that out and getting that clear coat smoothed out, and that's what gets you this nice wet looking black instead of the black with all of the scratches that are reflecting paint off of it and not letting the true color shine. And so that's all paint correction is working out those valleys that scratches leave in the clear coat. We're gonna continue working this car. It'll be probably, from what I can see, the paint is responding well to correction. There are certain paints that have a very, very hard clear coat, and it takes a lot of time to polish them, and the scratches are very, very difficult to come out. This has actually been a very satisfying polish. The scratches are adjusting, the paint's responding perfectly. So we're gonna work this car. I think we're gonna be probably 3.5, 4 hours on it. And we'll get the whole car looking like these two little pieces. Like always, stop by and see us. We love talking detail. Our detail department here is the best in the industry because of volume of our used cars and customers' cars. We're not offering detail to the public, but we'll certainly talk to you about it. We'll show you what we use. We'll give you tips. Come see us. We love doing this, and we love making cars look as beautiful as they were made. So we're going to continue this working around. I hope you like the end product. Okay guys, here we are. We got the Mustang finished. We've done the full paint correction on it. We did do 2 passes. Then we ended up top coating with a wax. We did not do a ceramic coat. With the amount of swirls and scratches and surface issues, we decided to do a full wash and decontamination using Iron X and some other chemicals just to get all the dirt and grime off of it. And then we hand clay barred the entire vehicle, top to bottom, front to back. After we got it fully decontaminated, we then decided to try to use aggressive cut with a cutting pad. That worked. And then we have to come behind that with a medium and a medium pad, and then finished it off with a wax and a fine pad. And so that's a 2-step correction. And it turned out great. It got about 90% of the scratches out. So those are the steps. It did take probably 18 man hours with multiple people involved, and it really shows and stands out, and it's worth it. But we are super happy with how it turned out, and the car looks gorgeous now. Once you get all that swirl out of the paint, it then shows that true rich, deep, dark black color that it should. And I can't tell you how fun it was to polish. It was very satisfying when you can make that big of an impact with the work you're doing, and somebody's gonna buy them a very nice used car here. So guys, thanks again for watching the video. We love restoring cars here, upfitting them at Swirl. Please stop by, talk to us about it. We'll point you in the right direction. Hit like and subscribe on the channel. We try to provide content, this real world stuff that you can do at home, and you can keep your car looking this way. Have a Merry Christmas, and thanks for watching.